We start with a point.
Hi and welcome back. Rob Bryanton once again with the Imagining the 10th Dimension video blog, continuing our series looking at polls that we've been running at the blog. And this is number 33 in the series. And the question was, if, as Einstein said, the distinction between past, present, and future is only an illusion, then I could meet another incarnation of myself right now. And 54% agreed with that, while the remainder disagreed. Now, last poll, I remarked upon how instructive these polls can be for me. For instance, I would have thought the idea that time is a direction, not a dimension, would have gotten a lot of people to agree, since it's central to this way of visualizing reality. But that poll came in with very similar results to this current one. On the other hand, I would have thought that the idea that one could meet an incarnation of themselves right now would have seen more disagreement, since this is one of the more unusual ideas from my project. 54% of the visitors to this forum are willing to agree with that notion? I'm pleasantly surprised. This is one of those ideas that occurred to me many years ago as an extension to my way of visualizing the dimensions of reality stacked one upon another, a concept that I'd been showing to anyone who would listen for the last 25 years or so. Back in 2002, I wrote about 50 songs that explored the tangents that came from this way of visualizing reality, with the plan that I would pick my favorites and record a CD. I was also thinking that I would write a little booklet to accompany the CD, in which I would explain how this new way of thinking about time and space tied all of the songs together. When I actually got around to writing the CD booklet in 2005, it grew to 220 pages, and that new way of thinking eventually became my popular 11-minute animation, which has been seen by millions of people around the world. Since the book's publication in 2006, my songs have become somewhat secondary to the project, which is fine, but I believe there are still ways that song lyrics can make these ideas more accessible. One of the 26 songs I attached to this project is called Connections, and the last verse of that song went like this. I think I met myself today. I think I saw my eyes. Another me in another body, living another life. Likewise with my song Burn the Candle Brightly, I was thinking about the patterns representing us that carry on after death. So when this journey is over and that beautiful spark is finally gone, we can see that the vessel is empty, but we know that the light carries on. And my song Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep also talks about this idea from the first-person perspective. Now I lay me down to sleep to rest my weary head. If I should die in slumber deep, remember what I said. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the dream. It's just the end of a body, not the end of a soul. One of the books I referred to a number of times in this blog is Douglas Hofstadter's I Am a Strange Loop. Let me quote a few paragraphs from this enlightening and inspiring book, much of which is about the structures and forms that create the mysterious I of consciousness. In the latter part of the book, though, he expands these ideas into what it means to have a representation of other people, your spouse, your children, your parents, a very close friend, held within those same structures. Specifically, how much of that can be thought of as being an actual part of what it is that makes that person uniquely who they are. And if any part can be thought of it in that way, to any degree, then what happens when the real person dies? Hofstadter writes, the bond created between two people who are married for a long time is often so tight and powerful that upon the death of either one of them, the other one very soon dies as well. And if the other survives, it is often with the horrible feeling that half of their soul has been ripped out. In happier days, during the marriage, the two partners, of course, have individual interests and styles. But at the same time, a set of common interests and styles starts to build up, and over time, a new entity starts to take shape. And later on, the following should be a much easier question, although I think it is not actually easier. What was the nature of the Holden Caulfield symbol in J.D. Salinger's brain during the period when he was writing Catcher in the Rye? That structure was all there ever was to Holden Caulfield, but it was so rich. Perhaps that symbol wasn't as rich as a full human soul, but Holden Caulfield seems like so much of a person with a true core, a true soul, a true personal gemma, even if only a miniature one. You couldn't ask for a richer representation, a richer mirroring of one person inside another than whatever constituted the Holden Caulfield symbol inside Selinger's brain. Now, in my own book, I suggest that what each of us thinks of as our unique soul is actually a large and interconnected set of memes, some of which rise and fall in prominence over a lifetime. And memes, by their very definition, are patterns of information that exist across space and time, connecting together in ways that are beyond the physical limitations of the world we see around us. This leads me to some conclusions that are related to what Mr. Hofstadter is talking about, but I go a little further out on the same conceptual limb. Here's another way to look at this idea. If each of us has a unique soul, where are all the new souls coming from? Our planet's population has exploded in numbers, so there must be new soul material being created from somewhere. If there really are only a certain number of souls allocated to this planet, then the chances of any one of us being the reincarnate soul of a person who lived here in the last few thousand years are approaching the chances of winning a lottery. In the New Age community, theories abound regarding what that source of all these new souls might be. All of these theories may be held within the version of reality that we are advancing here. If our soul is a conglomeration of memes that exist outside of time, then other versions of that soul could exist in other universes, in other locations within our universe, in other parts of the history and future of our universe, and even right now in other parts of our own world. The idea that it's possible to meet another incarnation of yourself right now may take some getting used to, but it's an important aspect of the version of reality we're exploring. And then later on I wrote, it may appear then that if we imagine a particular meme that has existed since the perceived beginning of our universe, collapsing a specific version of reality out of the wave of potential universes through the act of its observation, that we are imagining an aspect of the Creator God. But there's a second way to view this puzzle. Could the feeling of self that each of us holds within us also be just geometry? In other words, what if this interlocking web of memes were exactly like the interlocking web of physical realities implied by the many worlds theory? This would mean that the potential for all ways of viewing the world and the potential for all the different systems that we think of as being our own soul are also held within an indeterminate wave of potential at the 10th dimension that has always existed and will always exist. Now in entries like Everyone Has a Story, Being More Fifth Dimensional, You Are Me and We Are All Together, The Big Bang and the Big O, and Going to the Light, I've continued my exploration of how ideas from cosmology and philosophy, from science and spirituality, can be blended together into an understanding of our reality which embraces a timeless perspective. Once we've arrived at an appreciation of the timelessness that exists outside of our space-time, an unfolded symmetry state from which our universe or any other arises, it becomes easier to think about how it really could be possible to meet another person right now who is basically you, living another life, in another body, experiencing the world with their own unique perspective, but intimately connected through those underlying information patterns which exist outside of space-time. Other recent blogs about unfolded symmetry include Dreaming of Electric Sheep, Imagining the Omniverse. We start with a point within the Omniverse, T=0, Going to the Light, The Invariant Set, and Illusions and Reality. We're going to finish today's blog entry with one of the songs we quoted from earlier. The song's called Burn the Candle Brightly. And we're going to continue our series of blogs. Next time is poll 34, and the question was God or the multiverse. My name is Rob Bryanton. Enjoy the journey.
Each of us carries it within us. Each of us has a little spark that moves us to dance in the sunlight and lights our way through the dark. I want to burn the candle brightly, never let it fade. Burn the candle brightly, let it light my way. Yeah, yeah. Each of us tends to a fire that burns so dim or so bright. Some like a blaze in all its glory, some like a flicker in the night. flame, never let it fade. Burn the candle brightly, let it light my way. Some go gently to the darkness, some will rage to the end. All of us carry it forever, this tiny spark that we tend. So when this journey is over, and that beautiful spark is finally gone, we can see that the vessel is empty, but we know that the light carries on. I want to burn the candle brightly, never let it fade. Burn the candle brightly, let it light my way, let it light my way. I want to burn the candle brightly, never let it fade. Burn the candle brightly, let it light my way, let it light my way every day.